for joining us for Matilda and Julia's Greatest Knits. We have survived some holidays and we're here again to have a chat. We are two friends who work and knit together in Amsterdam, and on today's agenda we will be talking about what it is we're working on, what we would be working on if only our lives were just a slightly different time or place or inspiration. Speaking of inspiration, we talk about our favourite feed, someone who's been giving us great joy, and then we'll reveal our favourite 3 later in the show. So stay with us. And yeah, Julia, it's been a busy summer.
Yes, indeed. I've been working quite a lot in the background, stuff that I couldn't show you yet. So it's not necessarily something that I've been working right now, but I thought I'd share it now with you anyway. So first of all, it's the cardigan that I'm wearing. It's called Preppy Cardigan, and it's going to be in the next issue of Laine Magazine.
I'm so proud of you.
Thank you. Yeah, I was
How could
really
they reject
excited.
it though? Because this is such a gorgeous design.
Thank you.
It's lots of really clever little details.
So it's a color work cardigan. So you knit it in one piece.
Yeah.
And because you knit it flat, it's really easy. And you do the raglan increases. They have a bit of a saddle shoulder start. I can show you a bit closer. So they've got a saddle shoulder, and then they widen, the sleeves come out here. And it's based on a classic college jacket, which I always love wearing. I used to buy them in secondhand stores because I grew up in Frankfurt, Germany, and there was a huge American army base there, and they had really good secondhand stores, and they had these college jackets there. And I always wanted to make something like this. If you go back to one of our very first episodes, and I think there's maybe it's one of my fantasy knits.
Okay.
Yeah, and there was a similar design by maybe a Japanese brand.
Okay.
And they didn't have the pattern. They only had it in Japanese. And I mean, it was a bit different, and I'm sure they didn't make it in tarja way. So they were set in, you'd had to sew together the shoulders, but I decided it's time to make this one. And it's a really funny fabric. It's a fluffy, kind of dense fabric, super lightweight here. And that's Kumo by La Bien-Aimée, which is a brushed alpaca.
Yeah.
Together with a boucle.
Wow, okay.
Yeah.
So it's extra.
Yeah. It's a little bit, it's a bit like a fleece. Yeah. And the Kumo kind of fills up the gaps in the boucle and makes it dense but then lightweight. And then just sock yarn for the collar, and down here the hem and the cuffs. I thought that was a nice detail.
Yeah, the textural contrast, but the colors, because they're LBA, they work so well together. Yeah. Beautifully matched.
Yeah. And then I think during the time that this video comes out, we have the Carol sweater finally online. So you're wearing Carol 2.
Yes, and this is Julia's sample. I have not made this.
Yeah, I made this, and I made this one, the Carol 1.
Which you guys have probably seen in
a couple of times, I think, to be honest. Yeah.
But we're very proud of it. So.
Well, now it's out there.
It's ready.
Yeah, and it was it's a really easy color work sweater. So with a really beautiful, elegant neck, and you have a couple of charts that you do in between these stockinette runs. So it's a very relaxing knit. It's in worsted weight. And just want to say again, thank you for all the great test knitters. You'll see on Ravelry their beautiful, beautiful versions that they made. And I think always, if I see one of my patterns turning into so many beautiful other versions, I think, okay, probably works. It works okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, this is it's a lovely design. I can say it's really very comfortable to wear. I love this neckline, this sort of mock turtleneck kind of thing.
Yeah.
What I love about this sample is the fringe bust line.
So this is a loopy stitch, this one. You get one pattern and then you have different options that you can use. This one is with the loop stitch. And the one that I showed you is with an Estonian or Latvian braid.
Love it.
Thank you. And then right now I'm re-knitting one of my older patterns, the Uncharted that I made for Laine Magazine. And really enjoy knitting this one because it has a very beautiful squishy texture. It's just brioche with 2 rows of stockinette in between, basically. It's a raglan, classic raglan. And the yarn I'm using is by Les Petits Points Parisiens, a Parisian hand dyer who I really like. She makes very beautiful speckled yarns. And this one has just a touch of neon yellow and some grey speckles. And yeah, as I said, the summer was a bit long. Summer holidays of my son were a bit long, so I need a bit of color pops in between, you know.
Yeah.
Pick me ups.
Yeah.
Yeah. How was your summer? What are you working on?
So it's been a not particularly crafty summer for me. We had holidays from daycare. I didn't know was really a thing, but apparently so.
Yeah.
Yep. And yeah, it just has not been a particularly crafty season. I have been writing my first pattern, which has taken a different amount of brain power than knitting does, or even just knitting without a pattern. So this is the little carrot that I showed last time. There it is. There's that little carrot that I showed last time, with his little loopy I-cord top.
And this is going to be a toy for Thea?
It is going to be a toy for Thea. And I'm busy, as I'm writing the pattern, making another one. It's a mess right now because it's the yarn is
in between the carrot.
Yeah. I should have prepped this better for camera. So we might have a little bunch of carrots for Thea, or maybe some carrots for my niece.
It looks
for everybody.
Looks like a very fun pattern.
Yeah, it's nice. It's a quick, easy palate cleanser, crunchy snack in between the rest of your knitting.
Healthy snack in between. And you're going to write it down.
Yes, I am. Yeah. Well, I'm most of the way there. I'm just working out how to write a pattern. I've read so many knitting patterns. I've done layout for knitting patterns.
Yeah.
It's just it's a new skill to write.
Maybe you have to explain why you have experience with layout.
Oh yeah, I work for Stephen West, and I have done his book layouts and things like that. So
yeah, lots of experience.
Lots of experience with that.
Yeah, but it's different to write your own pattern.
It really is. Yeah, yeah. And to think, how can I express this as clearly and within this framework that other knitters already understand and expect, and not just whatever chicken scratches I put down in my notebook.
Yeah.
So yeah, new skill. So that's what I've been working on, and just doing summer and reading lots and things like that in between. So yeah, it's less productive than Julia, but in its own way, it's new skills. What would you be working on?
I would be knitting the Nomad jacket by Elin Berlin. I like it's I think it's honeycomb. It's a bit like my brioche, broken brioche, but it has a really nice squishy fabric. It's a cardigan. It's a nice, looks like a warm, comfortable cardigan with 2 pockets here. It has a good shape, and I like about a pattern that is just just worked really well without trying too much.
Yep. I think it's also just perfect.
Straight.
We are recording, it's still summer, but it's a rainy day. It seems like the perfect sort of autumnal cardigan.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it looks like a really comfortable cardigan to be sitting and having a cup of tea and knitting your next cardigan.
Ideal.
And how about you? What would you be?
Well, as the weather has turned a little bit cooler, I have been putting Thea in her Penguono, which was a birth gift from Stephen West for Thea, and I'm incredibly jealous that she has such a gorgeous little knit jacket. And so my fantasy project is a Penguono, the grown-up version of the Penguono. It's a great stash bust. Have you made the Penguono?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a great stash pasta.
Yeah.
But you do need like one, or my idea is you need one color that you carry all the way through most of it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Uniting.
Yeah, exactly. Holds it together. Yeah. So then it blends all the different colors.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I can show mine maybe here, but it's a great stash pasta. Super fun.
Yeah. There's just so much to knit.
Yeah.
There's so many things on my plate.
This one, I'm seeing you working the Penguono, so
yeah, it'll happen.
Yeah, which brings us to our third subject that we have is the inspiring feed, which can be a feed on Instagram or a book or whatever we find inspiring. Yeah. What's yours?
So it's tangentially related to craft, but it's more just that it brings me a lot of joy, is the greedy.peasant on Instagram. And they call it a queer medieval fever dream in their description. It's reels done by an incredible performer and craftsperson who just has a great theme and runs with it. And
unique theme.
Very unique.
Yeah.
Very tassel focused.
Yeah, I love the medieval aspect in it. I think it's totally probably Renner. Well, it has something to do with this, with the way he talks also.
Yeah. It's just beautiful. So I highly recommend the greedy.peasant.
Mine at the moment is poppypeak, and she's a jewelry maker. Mm-hmm. Her name is Amy Coway, I think. And she makes jewelry from little beds, and I really love the way that she puts together colors. Mm. So I have been using her jewelry as color inspirations for my patterns. Yeah.
Yes.
And I'm not wearing jewelry on my ears personally, unfortunately, but they're just like little sculptures in a way, and just made of glass beds, and it's so smart how she does that. So I really like, and she has an online store where she sells those. So I think she's from the States. So if you're there, you can have a look at her online store.
Love it. Well, that brings us to our favorite three. And we loved how into the salad theme everyone was from our last video. We had a lot of fun putting it together, but
we got so many great comments. I've got a whole recipe book on YouTube in your comments, so thank you for sharing those. Seriously, it was, I mean, you could tell from our last episode we're really into salads. But salads, I mean, and now we've got...
And now you are too.
Yeah, exactly. We've got your salads here. So this time...
Also food theme, our favourite three dinner party dishes or dinner party food. I don't know if you can tell, but we like to eat. And we like to eat together and
for
socially.
Sure. Yeah.
So without any further ado, I have three dishes and that I really try to match. These are my go-tos for any dinner party, but I try to match to who the company is. So I have a vegetarian, a fish-based one, and a meat and potatoes one, depending on the type of people I'm having dinner with. So my meat and potatoes is also I think, pretty budget friendly for a dinner party. It's a tin of Confit Duck, which I acknowledge is not available everywhere, but we're lucky that we can buy it in the supermarket here.
And she had to explain to me what it is, so maybe you can explain what it is.
So Confit Duck, it's the leg and thigh of a duck that has been slow poached in duck fat. It's salted, and so the meat is cooked and then it's tinned. I don't eat meat from tins very often, but this I make an exception for. And then you take it out of the tin, it's covered in duck fat, you scrape most of that away, and you put it either under the grill or in a fry pan, and it's ready in about 10 minutes, less than. As long as it takes to set the table and put together a green salad, and your duck is done. And I serve it, like I said, with a green salad and potatoes, done any way you like. You could mash them, you could roast them with the duck fat, you could serve boiled potatoes. It's just very easy, very crowd pleasing, and you're out and done for less than 20 euros for 4 people.
Delicious. And you have enough time to talk to your people.
Yes,
I hate it to have people and then you're so stressed out about the food that you
don't get to spend time with them.
Yeah, and people leave and you think like, what?
My partner had a great conversation, but I didn't see anyone.
No, it's not nice. No. Yeah. So totally. That sounds good.
So that's my number 1.
Okay.
My number 2 is a lot of my friends are vegetarian, but do eat fish or shellfish. So my number 2 is Chilly Mussels. And here we get great mussels, relatively inexpensive.
Yeah, easily from Belgium, but also from the Netherlands. Yeah, I've got great mussels.
And they're little ones. They're not I don't know, when I grew up, we had 2 types of mussels. You could get like smaller black ones or these huge New Zealand green lip ones. And I didn't like, they were too kind of rubbery. They're big. They're like big.
Too meaty.
Yeah. And they're kind of balloon texture. Thank you. But the ones here are really little and sweet and delish. And I do that with like just a tomato marinara sauce, but with lots of fresh chili and herbs.
Okay, fresh chili. Sounds
and then
delicious.
Fresh baguettes.
Yeah.
And or sourdough also is really good.
Yeah.
And
so
bottle of wine or some apple cider we used to do with as well.
Oh yeah. That sounds like really good food for the season now.
Yeah, exactly. And I love it also because it's a very interactive food. So everybody's eating with their hands. You can't wear your white shirt. It's definitely a bit more casual.
Yeah, it's a casual, but you kind of like, it brings people together if you eat physically, I think.
I agree.
Yeah, it creates a good atmosphere.
Yeah, exactly. And then my last one is a fully vegetarian, can even be vegan dish, which again is very interactive. We call it Israeli nachos, but I've also seen other people call it Nile Nachos. And it's a sort of a self-assemble, lots of little bits. Main stars of the dish are some baked pita chips. So you cut pita bread into triangles and bake that so they're crunchy. That's like your corn chips and your nachos.
You bake them in the oven or in the pan?
In the oven.
Okay.
Just maybe a little bit of salt and oil and roast those off and get them all crunchy. Delish. I usually do some like braised chickpeas. If I've got meat eaters, I might do some slow-cooked lamb, but that's totally optional. I do like a cucumber salad, some chopped tomatoes, lots of herbs, garlicky yogurt, tahini sauce. You could have hummus. You could have pomegranate seeds. You could have pomegranate molasses. You could have feta cheese. Like literally anything that you think could be like a Middle Eastern delicious thing. Pickles, pickled onions.
Lekker.
Oh my God, so good. I'm getting hungry thinking about it again.
Yeah, and then you have it also in the middle.
All little dishes in the middle. So also it's great, like if you've got people who want to bring stuff, say, hey, this is what we're having. Why don't you bring some roasted peppers or some...
Yeah. People can contribute.
Exactly.
Everything blends in.
Yep. And then you just build your plate at the table.
Lekker.
So good.
We have to make that one day.
Yeah. Let's make it happen. What are your dinner party go-tos?
Yeah, so first of all, I wasn't a great dinner party giver. I think I stressed too much about food until I just narrowed it down on very few little dishes that I have in my relaxed cooking range.
Yeah.
You know, stuff that can't go wrong. And usually that's, a lot of the stuff is made in the oven. So my first go-to dinner dish was a chicken by Jamie Oliver. And I kind of like, it developed into a bit of a different kind of, I made it with different things.
Yeah.
But it's basically, it's a chicken, it's a bit sweet sour. So you have paprika, pineapple. I just put in, and you chop that all up. You put it in a huge oven tray, and some fennel seeds, really important, tomatoes, garlic, and then you bake that in the oven, and everything is done at the same time with the chicken on top of it.
Yeah.
And then you just put it on the table, and I served it with a salad. And that everybody just loved that. Now we're more like flexitarian, so it doesn't happen that much often anymore, but now I'm much more relaxed also with cooking for people. And then how I made that is like you, I like make stuff that people have to assemble themselves. Yeah. Because then you're not the only cook, and everybody's cooking a little bit, and people also like doing that, and it creates a really relaxed atmosphere. So one of my favorite ones there is the a beetroot burger by Green Kitchen Stories. You pointed them out to me, and I think in one of our previous episodes, actually, as an inspiring feed. Yeah. And it's a beetroot burger, and it's surprisingly meaty. I've served it to a lot of people now, and everybody is very kind of like a bit careful in the beginning, because it's a lot of beetroot, you think, but it just tastes really, really nice. Yeah, super nice, and you make a burger out of it. And then my number 3 is it just turned, the homemade pasta that we made last time turned into my favorite one.
It's such a good recipe.
Yeah, it wasn't that difficult.
No.
And you can prepare it. You can prepare the pasta, make it before, and then you just throw it in. And I loved the one that we had was from a Pom Magazine recipe, which had these dried tomatoes.
Yeah, sun-dried tomatoes in the pasta dough.
Yeah, and then you needed only very little sauce.
Yeah.
You know, we had some feta on it and some maybe tomatoes. Prawns. Oh yeah, we did. Yeah. I think that was our own. Yeah. So that's my number 3. Yeah, delicious.
And I think that the fun thing about homemade pasta too is that it can be part of the dinner party. It's fun to do with kids.
Yes.
It's interactive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So today we're gonna cook together again. We were planning on making ravioli, but we'll keep that for another day.
Yes.
When Thea is coming as well, because we thought Thea and Philip, our kids, they can help, and I think it also takes the pressure out from one cook. You know?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
But instead we'll just do salads with all of your suggestions.
Exactly. And we'll do the watermelon salad.
Yeah.
So thank you all for joining us today again.
Thank you so much. We really appreciate it.
And again, please share your recipes for dinner parties.
Yeah.
Because I think also everybody else in the comments appreciate each other comments. So love that. Keep them coming.
Thanks so much, guys. See you next time.